Morning, YouTube family. Martinez Country Home here. Well, today's Monday, December the 27th, I think. I think it's the 27th. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and, blessed and joyful Christmas. I hope everybody's all right and y'all's families are doing okay. So, I wanted to talk about the health crisis, right? Well, at least the effects that the health crisis is having on on our, I guess, on society right now. I just say that for lack of a better term. But right now, one of the things going on is the NCAA. A couple of teams are pulling out of the bowl games that they're supposed to play in. So at this time, we have we have five bowl games that are affected. 3 bowl games have been canceled already due to COVID, and 2 of them, which was the Gator Bowl, Texas A&M pulled out, and Rutgers went ahead and filled in their spot. Another one, the Sun Bowl, I believe it was, I forgot which team pulled out of that one. It was supposed to be Washington State and some other team. Anyway, one of those teams pulled out, and as of right now, they haven't found a replacement for it yet. So I'm not sure if the spot is going to be filled. But I was reading a couple of different articles from different news, sports type news sites, and a lot of schools, they're claiming they don't have enough players on their roster. Not so much because they're sick, but just because that they're showing signs or whatever, or for just being careful. So my point about bringing this up, because I don't care one way or the other about the games. It's just entertainment to me. The bigger picture that I wanted to talk about is that this is really starting to feel just like in the spring of 2020 when, for example, the NBA canceled their season. It started off with, I think it was one player had got sick or had shown signs, and they went ahead and canceled the games. That's what it reminds me of, the parallels to the spring of 2020. I'm not saying that we're going to go into that same kind of lockdown or into those same kind of lockdowns or mandates and things like that. But it just reminds me that this is not over. That they're still pushing that agenda. The powers that be. I read several articles this past week, regarding mandates and lockdowns that are going on in Europe. New, I guess you could say, legislation. Especially in Europe, as far as like how to deal with patients that are affected by this health crisis, that especially those that are really sick. For example, in New Zealand, they're talking about, they basically opened the door for doctors to use euthanasia against patients that they deem are past saving or that are quote unquote suffering. And I will leave that link. Carol from Neverlosetruth did a good report on it, and there's several articles, guys, that you can see, but I will leave her link so that y'all can watch it. She makes very good videos, and she's always on point. I'm not sure if y'all heard of her, but hopefully y'all can subscribe to her channel. Right now, another thing, and I still haven't seen this video, I hadn't had time, but PreparednessNow came out with a video on inflation, I guess the new inflation versus the old inflation, and I haven't seen that, but I could just imagine what that's about. Very interesting. But so here, like I said before, we've been having inflation is now like very noticeable, guys. Very noticeable. And also another thing that catches my eye is that we're having a lot of new products. We're seeing some of the older, more established products kind of like disappearing, and we're seeing a lot of new products, like just basically generic named brands appearing, especially at HEB. We're seeing a lot of that, and we're straight up just seeing the contents of the products that we buy. It's a lot less, and again, it's usually packaged stuff, processed type foods, which we don't really eat, but we notice. Of course, we do eat some kinds of bread. Tortillas have gone up, some like by a lot, because we did a lot of our Christmas shopping recently. I got to see a lot of different stores and their prices just on their products. Some stores carry good products, so the high prices didn't really surprise me, being that they were of higher quality than, say, what you would find at a Walmart or stores like that. But in general, prices like really went up on most things, and if they didn't go up, the product is way smaller, or the product is smaller and the price went up. So I saw that a lot. We went to the groceries yesterday, and it was like about $150, and it honestly didn't even seem like what we got was that much. I guess what really took up the majority of what we paid was for the meat, the fresh meat that we bought, which is not, I wouldn't say it's too bad, but it's still not, it's still pretty high, you know what I mean? So the things that we're dealing with right now, the health crisis, it's still there. We're still hearing things in the news media. You see it pretty much everywhere. It doesn't matter. Social media, you have that one side really pushing the health crisis. You see the other side trying to state its case on how it's way overblown. So it's there. It's there and right in front. It never goes away. Then you have the new year looming. If these big companies are gonna insist on their employees getting the vitamin, some states are worse than others, and some cities within the states that are kind of laying back are worse than others. Even here in Texas, where it's not as bad, you still have some of the inner cities, some of the bigger cities pushing that real hard, mandates and things like that, things of that nature. So we're not out of the woods yet. Another thing, guys, regarding the health crisis, and it's too bad that we can't really say what we want to say, because then what's the point? We're just gonna get taken down. But So I have to really watch how I say things. But yes, we use alternative news sites so that we can get a more fair report on the true nature of things, right? Of what's going on. But also, guys, I'm sure a lot of you know people in the medical profession that have been there from day one, like I do. I have a family member that's been there in the middle of it from the very beginning, and she's seeing how things have progressed, to where in the beginning pretty much nobody really knew for sure what the hell was going on. It basically got sprung on everybody. But if people are really aware and they have their eyes open, you'll get a clearer picture of what's really going on. You'll get a little bit more unbiased explanation or an educated opinion of what's really going on. And so if you have people like that, go ahead and talk to them, because you're gonna, unless they're, if they're honest and again unbiased, you're gonna get a more clear picture of what's going on. So anyway, the reason I say that is because there's so much going on in the medical field, in the hospitals, and a lot of stuff happened in those hospitals that were never reported, guys. Or you gotta kind of like we were given information that was not correct. I'm sure y'all know that, but again, just use your discernment and read up on things, and so you can get a more clear picture of what's going on. Of course, the alternative media, for the most part, we're all on basically the same side. We might have a few differences of opinion, but for the most part, we're on the right side of we're just on the right side, guys. You know what I'm trying to say. So there's also stuff happening around the world as far as geopolitical views, like in Taiwan with China, and the Ukraine with Russia, which I'm sure will affect us in one way or another. But for right now, we got bigger fish to fry, and that's handling our business here in the United States and at the local level. So again, there's so much to talk about. I haven't been making that many videos. I've been busy with the holidays and stuff, but I do keep an eye out, and I kind of just see the trends of what's going on or where they're trying to push, which direction they're pushing. And actually, it's been relatively quiet, but for the fact that like what I was talking about in New Zealand about the euthanasia, I've also been hearing the last thing I want to talk about real quick is what's been going on in the financial sector, not just here in America, but worldwide. We're getting hints that, and we can never say a time. You just never know. You just don't know. I mean, they can pull the plug at any time, but right now they're giving you hints that it's getting close to the time when the banks are just gonna collapse. They're gonna collapse everything. How would that look like? I really don't know, because like in 2008, when the system should have collapsed, they just started printing money. They just basically created money out of nothing and bailed out the big banks. They straight up just bailed them out. So, do they have more tricks up their sleeve? I'm pretty sure they do. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're not gonna pull the plug until they have some system in place. And in my opinion, this health crisis has something to do with it in a way. They're linked as far as with trying to bring in a digital system, some kind of cryptocurrency, something along those lines. But they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna allow the system to shut down, or they're not gonna collapse it until they have themselves established and they're ready to go and they're set in. They're protected. Then they'll bring it down. But we are getting hints that that's already it's about to happen, or it's getting faster. The process is starting to pick up to where that's going to happen. So yeah, I think that's something that we gotta watch out for and just keep an eye on. I mean, there's so many things to keep an eye on already as it is, but we have to just kind of have to, it's almost like juggle the priorities. What do we wanna take care of first? So again, guys, just slow and steady, man. I would say that it would be good to pick up the pace if you haven't started yet. But do something. At the very least, your basic needs like food and water, your meds, over-the-counter meds. Especially now that we're going into the winter, even though it's been a very mild winter, but things like that. Just be ready. Again, I see hints that things are gonna get worse. They are gonna get worse with the inflation. That's actually what I was getting at, was the inflation.